In this video, we're going to be reviewing the parent functions and their key features. So this is the reciprocal or rational function equation, y equals 1 over x, and it has a vertical asymptote at 0 and a horizontal asymptote at 0. The domain is all real numbers except for a break at 0. So parentheses, negative infinity, 0 parentheses, union, parentheses 0 to infinity. And the range is exactly the same because we have a break at 0 for the horizontal asymptote. This is my square root function. Its domain and range both start bracket 0 to infinity because it starts at the vertex, covered going to the right, starts at the vertex, covered going up. And its equation is y equals the square root of x. This is my sine function. So y equals sine of x or y equals sine theta. Its domain is all real numbers, but its range gets this value of -1 and stops at a value of +1. So that range is bracket -1, 1 bracket. My next function is the cosine function. Domain is all real numbers, and the range, just like the sine function, is bracket -1, 1 bracket. And its equation is y equals cosine x or y equals cosine theta. All right, this one, it has a horizontal asymptote, which means this is my exponential function. So the exponential function, we think expletive, and that expletive is darn. So its domain is all real numbers, and the horizontal asymptote is the guy who has fallen over saying darn. And our range starts at the asymptote and is covered going up, so parentheses 0 to infinity. And the equation of an exponential function is y equals e to the x, or y equals 2 to the x, or 3 to the x, any positive base raised to the power of x. Here's our absolute value function. Y equals absolute value of x. The domain is all real numbers. The range is bracket 0 to infinity. Quadratic function, y equals x squared. Domain is all real numbers, negative infinity to positive infinity, and our range is bracket 0 to infinity. This is our cubic function, and the cubic function is y equals x squared. Its domain is all real numbers. Its range is all real numbers. This one has a vertical asymptote, which makes it a natural log or logarithmic function. So for natural log functions, we think of the tree and the forest and the lion is saying roarn. So this has a range of all real numbers, but its domain starts at 0 with a parenthesis because of the asymptote and is covered going to the right to infinity. So vertical asymptote, range of all real numbers, domain, parenthesis 0 to infinity. The equation for the natural log function is y equals ln of x. Or for a logarithmic function, it could be y equals log base 2 of x or log base 3 of x. So logarithmic or natural log function. This is my linear function. Y equals x. Domain and range are both all real numbers. This is my logistic function. Yuck. This one has a horizontal asymptote at 0 and a horizontal asymptote at 1. So its domain is all real numbers, and its range is parentheses 0 and then 1 parentheses. So don't get this one mixed up with the sine and cosine equations, which get those peak values. Since this is bordered by asymptotes, it doesn't get 0 or 1 included in the range. This one's equation, this is the tough one, the logistic equation, 1 over 1 plus e to the negative x. And again, logistic function, not logarithmic or natural log function, logistic. Our very last function is the step function or the greatest integer function. The equation is y equals int parentheses x. That's how you type it in on your calculator, or bracket bracket x bracket bracket for writing the equation by hand. The domain is all real numbers. The range is all of the integers because we have those awkward spaces in between those steps. And that concludes the Dirty Dozen or the 12 basic parent functions.